Alright, in this video we're going to be adding a few new features. We're going to be adding a reset button, we're going to be adding some spikes, and we're also going to be adding a door that will take us to the next level. In our case it's just going to quit the game for now, but it won't be too difficult. You'll see how you could actually take it to the next level or the next scene in the game. So what we're going to do here, what we've got is, this is the end of video 3. We can play our game and we can select it and we collect the number of gems, and there is still that bug where it doesn't count the gems properly, so I might just space them out so there is no chance of it hitting 2 at the same time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I can jump through these platforms. That's all good. So from here though, we want to add a few things, and the first thing that we want to add is going to be that reset button. So we'll end up using this again later. And we're going to the events here, and we're going to add in a new event. Now this event is just going to be an other condition, a keyboard condition, and we're going to look for any key pressed. Not any key pressed, but key pressed. And then over here we can type the key. So I'm going to use R for reset. I'll click OK. So when the R key is pressed, add action. I'm going to go other actions, and we're going to look for scene events here. So these are all to do with the scene, and we're going to change the scene. We're going to change the scene to level 1 and stop any other pause scenes, yes. So we'll click OK. Now what that means is if we run our game now, and I jump around and collect my gems, and then I push the R key, it resets it back to the start every time. So we can do a really quick reset. Pretty straightforward. When the R key is pressed, change to scene level 1. So that's easy, that part. Then we're going to go back to here and we're going to add in some spikes. Now I'm going to search here for spike. That is not the word spike. Spike. Now this one here we don't want to use. The reason for that, if you try to use it, you'll see the collision box is massive and takes up a lot more space than that. I'm just going to use these low spikes and click add to game. And click close. I can bring them in, and you can see they don't quite snap to the right location. Let's just see if the high spikes do. I think they actually do, so I might use them, because I don't want to go fiddling around with that stuff at the moment. They're a bit better. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. But what I can do is I could actually just grab those and kind of drag them down a little bit. So it doesn't matter which of those spikes you use, high spikes, low spikes. You can just drag the bottom part down and it will fit. Now if you want to make multiple copies of this, you can hold Control and you can just drag it. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a whole bunch down here, so I can't fall off the scene. Click, hold Control to drag out a copy. Okay, now I want to start putting some code on this. Okay, these are not going to be platforms or anything. Instead, we're just going to go to code. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put one more spike in. So I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to put this maybe here. You can see what will happen with this bit of code. So we'll go back to here, and we're going to add in a new event. And this new event is going to consist of 2 conditions. So the first one is going to be, is the player colliding with the spikes? But it's going to have a second condition, because we don't want them just to die when they collide with the spikes. We want them to also be falling. Is the red player falling? Add condition. And then we're going to add an action. Now the action is going to be, we're going to do a few things here. Red player. First thing we're going to do is ignore default controls. Where is it? Ignore default controls. Yes. Okay, so we can test this out now. And I can actually walk through these. That's all good. But if I jump up and then land on them again, that's it. I can't do anything. And we're going to make something appear on the screen here. So if we go back to here, we want to add in a new object. It's going to be a text object. and we're going to say, we're going to call it dead text. And it's going to say, you are dead. Press R to restart. Okay, now it'd be better to do this as some kind of graphic, but it's fine for now. I'm just going to make sure that that will fit in the screen. And I want to get it to the right position. So I'm going to, again, I hate how the grid always seems to reset to a different color every time. So we'll go like that and click apply. And now I can see the grid, but it's not in the way too much. And I can move that around. Now I want it to appear pretty much right in the center of the screen. And I need to remember these numbers here. Now for me, that's 64,128. If you have a different message, maybe it's a bit different, you've written something slightly different, you can remember your numbers. So position it in the screen, remember those numbers. Because what we're going to do is in here, we're going to create, and we need to go object, create an object, dead text, at 68, I think that's what it was, no, it was 64,128. And we're going to make it on the UI layer. That means that it won't be in relation to the camera, so it won't appear off the screen somewhere. Okay, so these are the two things here. So if I do this, oops, we want to get rid of that. So we can actually delete this from the scene. It's still over here, so we can create it now. So I want to get rid of it from the scene, and then I can go around and I can collect my gems. And then I go down here, oh, you press R to restart, done. We've got that part working as well. Now the last thing is going to be to make it so that we can collide with an object and go to the next room. I'm going to add in a new object, and this is going to be a sprite. No, it's not. I'll delete that. It is going to be a sprite, but I'm going to pick the sprite from the asset store here. And we'll go door. There's a few doors, they're not very interesting. I'm just going to pick this one here. Add to game. And again, I'm going to kind of find a place for it. That looks like a good place there. Okay, 160, 128. That's where I want to remember. 160, 128. Now over in here, I'm going to add in a new event again. And we're going to check to see, is the number of gems equal to 0? And if it is, we're going to create a door. So let's go ahead and check the number of objects is equal to 0. So this is for the blue gem, number of objects is equal to 0. We click OK, and the event says the number of blue gem objects is equal to 0. When that is true, it's going to do this on the right. So we're going to create an object. So objects, create an object, door, and I've forgotten the X and Y position. So I'm just going to put 0, 0, and just leave that bit empty because we want it in the game, not on the UI layer. And I'll just go back and check where I put my door. 160, 128. So I can actually edit these here, 160, and then this one, 128. Cool. Now delete this, and I can go and push play. Collect all the gems. Door appears. All right, how do we make it so when we touch the door, it goes to the next level? In this case, we are just going to make it so that when we touch the door, the game ends. And this shouldn't be too difficult. We've done this before, or similar. Red player is in collision with blue gem. We just want to check, is the red player in collision with the green door? If they're colliding with the green door, we're going to quit the game. And you may have seen that before. It's under scene, quit the game. Click OK. Now, if we wanted to go to a next level, we can say pause and start a new scene, or actually change the scene would be better. Change the scene would be better. Pause might be if you want to bring up another scene like an inventory or a pause menu or a map. But change the scene is what you might do to go to the next level. I'm just going to quit the game for now. So that's what's going to happen. So when we go and collect all our gems, this game's not very challenging. Okay, and then when I touch the door, game ends. So there we are at the end of video 4, and in the next video, I'll think of what to do shortly, because this is just an introductory series on using GDevelop, using some of the events, using the behaviors and so on, and thinking about simple game development and learning that. Remember, this is for a year 10 level, so there's nothing too complicated in here. We just want to be understanding some computer programming principles, events, actions or conditional things, sequential stuff, all that kind of stuff that we learn about in the New Zealand curriculum, and making sure that we are actually focusing on that. So in class, I'll give you some extra challenges, such as the ladder, making gems that give you different point values. So some of you have already done that, and also just in general making your level bigger. So you can fill this out. I mean, there's a huge amount of space here. You can make quite a large level in there. I'm not sure what the upper limits are and whether it will lag or not. Oops. So let me see what happens if I just grab these and then just keep on going this way. I'll see how far we can go. Duplicate them a lot. Zoom out again. I noticed someone at school getting some lag, and they probably didn't have much more than this. So let's see. Okay, let's hit play. Do we get lag with this? I don't. Okay, that seems fine. We can just keep running that way. I'm not getting any noticeable lag, so I'm not sure if there was something in their code that made it like that, but you can create quite large levels. All right, check out the next video.